restored democracy, the rest of us have a right to know exactly where the money came from. What did they do for it? And what effect is it going to have on the country going forward? In a democracy, that's a very basic request. And there's nothing democratic about ignoring the question. In fact, it just confirms what's obvious, which is they don't plan to govern this as a democracy, but instead as an oligarchy. Sean Davis is co-founder of The Federalist. He has been on top of the story since the very first day. We're happy to have him on tonight. Sean, thanks so much for joining us. So this email in which Hunter Biden, totally non-political email to the office manager of a building apparently owned by the Swedish government in Georgetown, saying my new office mates will include my father, my stepmother, my uncle, and a Chinese businessman with direct ties to the Chinese Communist Party. Kind of a smoking gun, no?
It is a bit of a smoking gun, especially since we had the apparently incoming president saying, I didn't know anything about anything, you know, that was Hunter's thing, I wasn't involved in any way. Tony Bobulinski told us that wasn't true and the media suppressed it. And now we have Hunter Biden himself in his own email saying it's not true, because why would he be handing out keys to his office mates, including his father, if it weren't true? And there's been a lot of talk about election rigging and vote counts and all that, but I think the election rigging that we haven't given nearly enough attention to was the rigging done by corrupt media and big tech to suppress this story, to keep people from hearing about it, which undoubtedly changed the election. It changed people's votes and their mindset when they went to vote. That's a huge scandal.
Why don't we know even the most basic outlines? We have tantalizing hints from these emails, which the authenticity of which no one really has contested. But why don't we know even the outlines of Joe Biden's involvement in these business deals? How much money did he make from them, for example? How did he afford to rent one of the biggest houses in the Washington area immediately after leaving the vice president's job? Why don't we know that?
Well, there's two reasons. The first is we have a pretty incurious media, especially when it comes to the White House press corps, where they're just simply not interested in the answers, so they don't even bother asking the questions. And we're left with other outlets who don't have the access and the bandwidth that the big ones have to get those questions, which the Biden family ignores. And then the other issue is, unlike during the Russia investigation and the leak-fueled lie extravaganza following that, there's nothing coming out from the government. So when you have Republicans that are being investigated, it's leaks galore. When it's Democrats like Hunter Biden and the Biden family and James Biden being investigated, we don't know anything. So we are completely in the dark a month in a week ahead of Biden taking office, and we know nothing because we have a law enforcement establishment that's apparently fine with there being two systems of justice, and we have a completely corrupt media establishment that doesn't want answers if they're going to be inconvenient to their Democrat leaders.